What's going on, guys? It's your boy AA on 2420, bringing you guys our NPL weeks 3 and 4 games. I'm not gonna have a team builder up, but I will post my teams in the description along with quickly going over what I brought, just because I don't really have too much time right now. I have a lot that I have to record today, so I sort of just want to get everything out here and get the matches done. At least I figure those are more important. I'll link to the teams in the description, and I'll vaguely go over them before the match, though. But basically, I brought Florigis. It was Def Florigis mainly for mons such as Latias. I figured I have other things to take a side shot. God fucking damn it. Okay. Well, I have Spadef Florigis for Latias. I have Hippowdon. It's EV to guarantee Oko the Mega Pinsir with Rock Slide. I have Vaporeon, who is physically defensive, mainly here to take hits from mons such as Snorlax and Rhyperior and Hitmonlee. In this match specifically, also like for Rachi if it's physically offensive. Drill and Sand wrecks his team. He doesn't have any reliable switch-ins for it besides Latias, but at the same time, that doesn't switch in too often because it just takes Iron Head damage. Hydreigon just cleans up at the end. Meloetta I brought with Pure Wet form, mainly as an answer for Snorlax, because it's probably going to switch in for it, so I have Relic Song that turn, and then go for close combat, and it can't really take it that well unless it's like Choppleberry. I have knockoff for things such as Rachi if it's non-scarfed, or for, again, Latios if it's non-scarf, and I believe my last move is Return. I should have probably brought, like, Ice Punch, but again, close combat hits are Rhyperior pretty hard. Relic Song does a lot of damage to the Hitmonlee, so it can't really switch in on it, because between that and Return it kills. So Pure Wet Meloetta does a lot to his team. So anyway, let's get right into the match. I lead off with Tom Robinson. Figured I can get some sand up if the matchup leads for that, or at the very least get up rocks. But he leads off with Latios, so it's the one mon I don't really want to switch and drill on. So I go into Florigis. I figured I could always scout for a potential item. He seems like he's probably, well, like he could be light. Well, I don't think he's life orb actually. Did he take life orb damage? Well, no, it was immune. That's why he had to take life orb damage. So really, he could be anything at this point. But I figured that I can go for Tox no matter what. Unless a Rachi came in, I'm fine. And he brings in the Snorlax, which tells me this thing is not immunity. I'm gonna slow this down a little bit. So I go into Vaporeon though. I figure that's my main answer to Wallet Snorlax, because, for example, it could have Ice Punch for the Hippowdon, and it would take more than Shami 15 would do. So I bring in Shami. I figured I can go for a Scald, and I found out that he does have Energy Ball. Not only that, but he's also mixed. So I figured that, sadly though, that because of this Iron Head, I am no longer safe to take an Energy Ball too well. So I have to switch out. I go into the Mag Counter. I'm hoping that he... Well, I know he's not Scarfed at least, but I'm hoping that he has enough Dazzling Gleam or like a Culver Berry or something like that, so I can take the hit. And he doesn't seem to have Dazzling Gleam, because otherwise he would have stayed in there. So I go for Dark Pulse. The crit does bring it down a decent amount. And he is taking a lot of damage, but his Figgy Berry does help a lot in terms of getting him back up to practically full. And I figured I don't want to stay in case if he curses up or if he tries to go for something like Superpower. So I switch out into Shami 15. He does go in his Mega Pinsir here, which means it's perfect time for me to go into Tom Robinson. Even if he Sword Dances up, I live a return. He doesn't have anything that can kill me after a Sword Stance. So he does just that, though. He goes for the return. My guess is he was probably Jolly, because Adamant actually had like a very small roll to Oko, but it, oh yeah, it had a very small roll to Oko. It was like, I think it was like a 2% chance, but I was able to kill between the rock slide and the sand, and sadly though I do die to Rhyperior, which means that I really have to take advantage of my sand turns right here. Him switching out means that he's either trying to preserve a Pasho Berry or that he doesn't have one. Turns out he was Z Rockwrecker after talking with him in the match, because it Oko had everything besides a Powdon. But at the same time, a lot of my team could kill it off if that means it was offensive. He does go for the Energy Ball here, but with the Wish, I'm able to bring myself back up, get some Sand Terms off. His only switch into an Earthquake is really just Latios. The fact that he didn't go into that means that I can just go for Iron Head here, because Iron Head between that and the Earthquake damage. No switch-ins, and Latios obviously didn't want to come in. His 2 Iron Heads would be a lot for that to take. But at the same time, he still does go into Latios anyway. I'm able to go into Florigis here because Jolt can take the hit fairly well, even if it goes for Psyshock. And at this point in the match, I figured I could just sack, because Latios, I have other things in the back for it. And Mega Pinsir, I had it... Well, not even Mega Pinsir. Snorlax is dead, so I don't have anything else I really want to Toxic necessarily. Rachi just dies to Earthquake. I took the Fire Punch pretty well. Better than I thought, to be honest. So he was probably more on the special side. Or, I don't know, I just didn't really calc, to be honest. But I thought it wasn't going to do... I thought it was going to possibly kill. But he goes for the Mach Punch, then Endure. So luckily I went for Relic Song here, so if I went for like Psychic, that would have been game right there. But I figured here, I'm in no place to take a Mach Punch, and he switches out as well because he doesn't want to necessarily have to worry about anything that I could do with something like Close Combat, potentially, probably. That's my guess. He goes for the Draco, though, and I was in Draco range right there. Now I am no longer in Draco range, so I'm able to get off a Wish right here. Apparently this was a roll as well, but at the same time, this would have just enabled Hydreigon to come in sooner, and between that and Meloetta, I could have still finished off his team, just with a lower differential, because Hitmonlee was no longer taking a Relic Song well. Though to be fair, I had Mach Punch and Endure, so... But still, I didn't really have anything to switch in on Hydreigon. So, luckily though, I go for the Wish here. He goes for the knockoff, trying to get my leftovers off, which is perfectly fine. I go for a Scald, which crits. This did end up mattering, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, I still won the game. This was really the only set of hacks that actually ended up mattering a lot, so I'm not too mad about that. Vaporeon nabs a second kill here against the Rhyperior, and then he goes into Latios and proceeds to just try and weaken me down a couple turns. I try and stall it out, but I realized that I'm better off just sacking this, so I'm just going to skip ahead a couple turns because I really just, as you see, I just sack it to Psyshock, and then, because I figured I don't want to sack this thing to a Draco. That was my main worry, because he did reveal Draco earlier, and if he did go for Draco on this, then instead I could go into Vaporeon, I guess, and stall it out, but that's a lot riskier because a crit would still kill me, and Meloetta definitely didn't really want to take... Well, Meloetta, I guess, probably could have taken it, but still, I figured I didn't want to risk. I can go into Hydreigon, just guarantee the kill after sacking Vaporeon, and that's going to be my game versus Turbo. Now, we have another game as well, week 4. This also happened this week. Turbo was out of town last week, which is why I'm doing the match this week. I could have just taken the forfeit win, and it would have only guaranteed me one more differential, but I wouldn't have had any of my kills. So that helped me guarantee that the Ches Bowl prediction of my drill kills were wrong. You'll see after this match. I was at 5 before this match. Spoiler alert, I get at least one more kill with Drill. But anyway, let's get in the match. I lead off with Drill, though. I figured that he didn't have anything that wanted to take an Earthquake. Him leading off with Nidoqueen, though, kind of worried me, because I figured that if he was Shucca Berry, then he was definitely going to take that and kill me off. But luckily he switched out, so I didn't sack Drill turn 1 like I did in my mock. Though that was to Azel, to be fair. But he goes into Serena and clicks High Jump Kick. Now, between High Jump Kick and a Flare Blitz, I would have died anyway. He was probably scouting for Scarf, potentially. No matter what, I am now outsped, though, because I'm Expert Belt Drill. Expert Belt Embor. So he's able to actually get off a rest here. Had I stayed in, I could have clicked Earthquake, and I could have done a lot of damage to this guy. But, oh yeah, by the way, Spidef Florges. I also have physically defensive Vaporeon meant to outspeed any speed creeping he could have done with Azu. I had sub Mega Manectric, mainly because sub 3 attacks I felt did pretty decent against his team. I had Embor with Extra Belt, 4 attacks, Sucker Punch, Earthquake, Flare Blitz, and Wild Charge, because I hit his team pretty well. I brought Pirouette Meloetta again. I had Ice Punch, Knockoff, Close Combat, Relic Song with AV. It handled his team fairly well. And then Scarf Embor and Mold Breaker because he had no switch-ins. So, well, his switch-ins were Serena, but that's really it. That doesn't take an X-Scissor too well, though. I actually just watched his team builder, and he was Tangaberry on Serena, so he clearly thought about this so in the future. He knew I was going to be X-Scissor Drill. I should have brought Poison Jab, but it's whatever. That would have hit Azu better, too, to be honest. But, again, it's whatever. So, anyway, I go into Florges here. I figure that's nice for the Mega Ampharos, and I go for... I believe I go for Toxic here. No, I go for Moonblast. That's right, because I wanted to just do some damage to it. So then I figured I can't stay in. So I go into Meloetta, who is my best mod to take on Nidoqueen before Pirouette form. And I go for Relic Song, because I figured that he doesn't really have too much besides Ozzy that really wants to take a hit from Meloetta once I'm in Pirouette form. He goes for Protect, though. He's trying to Scout out, obviously. And I just go for Close Combat. I figure there's no reason not to. I switch into Azu, but I wasn't sure if that would kill because I'm pretty bulky, and Aqua Jet I didn't think would kill, but I figured I can do. Actually, no, I didn't return anymore, so I couldn't have really touched Azu. But I go for Ice Punch because I figured that if he gets a Sleep Talk turn, that would be really nice if he gets like Rest. But he sadly hits a Focus Blast, which sucks for us. I just didn't want my special defense or physical defense going down even more, because that could have helped out potentially versus any other mons that could have came in after, should I have not died. I go for Rapid Spin here because I thought that he was going to honestly switch out and Serena, but sadly he did not, and he actually banked on this in the match. This is his way of scouting if I was Scarfed, so this is very clever on him, because now he's able to just Volt Switch into, I believe he just Volt Switches, oh yeah, Nidoqueen. He brings a Nidoqueen right now. So, sadly though, I go into Emboar and have to sack Emboar, though to be fair, I wasn't really outspeeding anything at this point. So then, from here I go into Drill though. I figured that my main reason for going to Drill right here was because, again, he has no Earthquake switch-ins besides Serena, who, if I got 2 higher rolls, I could have potentially even killed with Earthquake, but I figured that I had to go for the Earthquake, and he sacks his Mega Ampharos. Makes perfect sense, because he still has Serena for the Vaporeon, and even Nidoqueen did decent damage, so I couldn't really switch it in necessarily. But he goes into Azu here, and I figured, okay, you know, even if it's Belly Drum Azu, I thought, 1, I thought Belly Drum was unlikely, and 2, I thought that, you know, maybe I could bank on a player off this. But sadly though, he is Adamant Max Attack, and goes for Knockoff, so having Knockoff. I don't know why I thought this was my answer, to be honest. I should have brought Weezing. I was even talking about it after. I was like, you know, Weezing would have been great, or Culverberry Gourgeist. Both would have been great mons against this, but I thought it was so unlikely that he'd bring Belly Drum Azu. Sadly, though, he did bring that. To be honest, I probably should have sacked Florges, went into Mega Manectric, went for the Intimidate, and hoped that Vaporeon could have taken a hit then, and roared it out and potentially cleaned up with Drill late game. But sadly, that was not the case. Even then, I'm sure that Vaporeon would have taken a +5 knockoff. But who knows? Maybe I could have. But that is good game to Sebast. Good friend. Check him out. Link to his channel along with everyone else in the description below. Same as Turbo's channel as well. Both of them are very good people in the NPL. So if you want to check out their seasons along with any other coach in the NPL, make sure to check out links in the description below. That's it for this week. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like down below. Next week, I will have team builders back. As I said, though, if you want to check out the teams that I brought to either match, check in the description below. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.